to be with you on our core coaching competency today. So if you are on, can you turn on your camera? I don't see anybody on the screen yet, so I would love to see your face. Hello, Lily. Hello, Ruchika. Hello, Tim. Hello, Dr. Nira. Hello,
Hi,
Chi. Hi.
good
Just say
afternoon.
hello, right? We have fun sharing with each other. Hi there. Okay. Hi, Dr. Nira.
Hi,
Hello, Lily. Okay. Good to have
curious
you.
learner.
Okay, cool.
Happy to be here.
Okay, cool. Is it your first time here?
No, I've been attending most of the other sessions that your cohort has been doing, so this is not the first time.
Great. Okay. So it's my first time to see you. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, probably.
Okay, great. So our core competency for today is core competency number 4. Right? Before we dive in, let me just spend like a few seconds to introduce myself. And my name is Cong from Vietnam. So I do coaching since 2012. Now I'm on my MCC journey with Jaya. So yeah, actually I start with my mentor 4 years ago, and I love mentoring process. And I feel like, oh, I no longer need MCC, but right now I feel like I want to get it. That's why I go back.
The very best to you.
Okay, cool. So I coach more than like 3,500 hours. So excited with for our session today. So we have you and Lee on the call and the other on the live stream. Yeah. So here's how it works. I will share my experience and my take on the core competency. And if you have something to share, please co-create that to make our 45 minutes enjoyable. Okay, cool. So let's start with the core competency number 4. Yeah, I will share the screen to see what it is. You see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the topic today is ICF Core Competency number 4. It's Cultivate Trust and Safety. I think that's the update from the previous one version. Previous version is called the Trust and Intimacy, and now it's Trust and Safety. So I think that's the wording is changed. So let's start by to see if what ICF define trust and safety, because we need to be able to understand exactly how ICF written it. Otherwise, we might confuse about that. Okay. So the first thing is about partner with the client to create a safe and supportive environment that allow the client to share freely. The keyword is freely, and maintain a relationship of the mutual respect and trust. Okay. So what is your definition of trust and safety? Just for Lily, Nira, and for the other people on the call, right? So what is your definition and trust and safety? I will share my definition on that. But to me, that is the less sexy competencies that I want to learn, right? Normally it's like how setting a goal, how to evoke awareness, but trust and safety, it seems like very boring topic to learn about. I don't know about you, but for me, it's very, very, very boring. But right now, what I can say it is the number one core competency, because without the trust, without the safety, there's no real open conversation. So for me, that's what that means, right? And what I'm sharing today is half of, for me to put a context, half of what I share is from the business perspective, and half what I share is from coaching perspective, because this core competency is not just for coach in a coaching conversation, but it's for me as a business owner to how to create trust and safety in my staff, but for me as a business owner, how to create trust with my clients, right? So I will share like half the business perspective, half is a coaching perspective. Okay. And from the ICF definition, so the first keyword is partner with the client. So the keyword is the partner, right? Partner, what that means is it's not forcing. Partner, it means inviting two people. It's a coach and a coachee as well to create the multiple relationship of trust and safety. So that is the key. So how we invite that process to let the client feel safe, and we feel safe as well, not just the client, right? And the keywords number 2 that I want to pick up before I go deep dive in is to allow the client to share freely. Okay. But what I want to say is, how do you enable that? How do you enable the client to share freely if, as a coach, you not share freely? Okay. So that is one other thing. When I work with my MCC mentor, he's coached more than 11,000. Right now, I work with JR for mentoring. He kind of like see the competency in different way. ICF just focus on how we can help the client to share freely. But for us as a coach, do we share ourselves? Do we share our observation to the client freely? How often do you share that? So that is one competency. It's called self-trust sharing. I just want you to write it down, right? Self-trust sharing. For us as a coach, do we trust in ourselves to share freely to our client? Without that, there's no good feedback for our client because we hold something back, right? If we see something, but we don't share it freely, then we hold something back. So that is one thing I just want to highlight. That's my view on that, right? Because ICF doesn't want a coach to share freely. Just invite a client. But how? How come? Right? Just one partner sharing. It's not really a partnership. It's not really a co-created process, right? So that's a thanks for your heart. Yeah. Okay. And the keywords number 3 is the mutual respect. Okay. So have you have any experience when you work with a client and you respect them, but you feel like the client not respect you as you respect them? Okay. Is there any experience like that? Okay. Or vice versa. Have you ever been in a coaching relationship where you are as a client and you don't feel like the coach respect you enough, right? And how you can respect the client and share freely. So that is the key, right? I have one experience, right? In experience relating to the respect of the client. So back like 4 years ago, so I worked with one coach of Tony Robbins, right? Since 2011 now, I work with 5 coaches of Tony Robbins. But specifically for one coach, I don't feel respect by her, right? She's just with me for 6 sessions, right? And I change coach, right? I don't feel respect. Anytime I ask her something, she said, "You need to do your homework before asking me." You need to do your homework before asking me. You need to do your work, right? I'm a coach. I'm not give advice, right? So, and it's like a 2 or 3 couple sessions going on. I feel like, oh, I don't feel like this coach really supporting me. So you want to say something?
Yeah, it also reminded me of judgment that came in then, right? Something that we have to be so watchful of.
Can you say again?
The judgment that came in when this was said to you. It
Yeah,
seemed like you got judged, right?
and it's
Something we want to be careful about.
yeah. I just put my word here is I feel like the coach blaming me for not taking the actions, right? So here's the lie. So how we can give share feedback freely and still keep the respect. So that is the key, right? So I keep asking uh, I keep asking her, and she said, "You do your homework, then come to the next session." And next session, I'm asking something, and you do homework. I feel like I don't get the support, right? And the coach blaming me for not doing it, for not doing homework, things like that. So here's the thing, right? How as a coach we can give the feedback, we can share freely with respect to have the client gain awareness. So that is really to build the trust, right? And to let the client know they can be who they are, right? Sometimes they make progress, sometimes they're not taking action, but we are here as a coach to create a safe space for them to share, to acknowledge their progress, right? So I think that's the that's the couple of things. And so for each of you here, so how crucial is this competition? Why trust and safety is so crucial for you? You want to share? Yeah,
If I
please,
begin,
Nira. Yeah.
Okay, I think Aarti is speaking. I'll speak after her.
thank you,
Who?
Neera. So I feel like
Oh,
if, as
okay,
long
cool.
as you thank you for the opportunity to speak, I guess it's impossible for a client or a coachee to open up if you don't trust the coach. I just recently had a coaching session and I kept on talking incessantly about so many things. That I thought were my weaknesses. If a coach, if I didn't feel like she was trustworthy, I guess the thinking environment would not have been activated and I wouldn't really have been able to share or go over my thoughts with her.
So thanks, Ati. I will share my thought after that, after I invite Nira. Please go ahead, Nira.
I think very similar. So when I think about trust and safety, what comes up for me is that this is a space where we are inviting every individual to be completely vulnerable.
Mm,
And my belief is that unless an individual can gift themselves vulnerability, they are not able to have deep realizations. I say this also from experience because, as part of some peer coaching, one very powerful learning that emerged for me was this, that because I was able to allow myself to completely immerse in that vulnerability, every time I was in those sessions, I had very deep realizations.
mm.
And that is what I realized would be so important for the coachee. So I was in the coachee hat, and it helped me realize how important it is for the coachee when I am the coach. That if you cannot create that environment where they can be free to be vulnerable, it's going to be very limiting in the exploration that happens.
Yay. So we create the safe and supporting environment where we allow the client to so there can be vulnerability. So, and do we as a coach to show our vulnerability?
Right.
And how?
I think one, to me, when I'm thinking about it, what comes as foremost is just being easy and authentic.
Yep.
My personal experiences when I'm being authentic, when I'm being easy, then I am personally also in a space where you very nicely pointed out, and there was also a chat message to say, we are communicating to the other individual that I am safe with you and sharing what I'm sharing. And I think you started out with that.
Yep.
So that is what will also create that ecosystem for the other individual to feel that as well.
Yep. Okay, cool. Thank you. And I want to add on with that. So that's how I often use. So for coach to be like transparent, and we can acknowledge our weakness, and we can comfortable and confident say that I don't know. So for me, I think that's gain trust, right? Because vulnerability is like superpower. It's for coach. If some coach can be vulnerability, it's mean they're strong because they know their weakness, right? They're strong because they know their weakness. So, and back to the case that my coach with me before, I have a sense, I have a feeling that she doesn't know that, right? If she say to me that I really want to support you, but this is out of my knowledge, can I ask you some question to really explore that? So she will gain the trust on me, right? But she pretend, at least in my view, right? She pretends she's good at that. Right? She give me a challenge, right? And I don't feel supported. It's really destroy a relationship, right? Okay, so to see what I have here. Okay. So to really give you the proof, the science proof, what this ICF core competency means in a real business setting, right? In a company setting, I will share with you this. Okay. Today is different from last month. My team has created a very beautiful slide for this. So I will give you this if you want. But no, normally I prefer to speak from my note rather than my slide, right? I have my slide, but I just jot some key point here. Okay. I have my slide. You see the slide? Oh, okay, cool. All right. So, okay, we just covered this. Now, oh, I like that the quote, right? People don't grow where they are churches. They grow where they are seen. Right? We just talk about vulnerability. Okay. So this is what explore before I give you uh, the um, the proof on how the business context they use this concept, right? So we talk about trust and safety, and there are three dimensions of safety. Okay, so often we talk about emotional safety, which is like free from judgment, criticism. Is that correct? Normally we mention like judgment is the emotional. But the next one to build trust is relational safety. How we as a coach show the empathy, show the consistency in our approach, and share our transparencies, right? And the third one is the contextual safety, which is how we establish our agreement, how we the ethic, the logistic. It's more or less on the core competency number 3, right? When we talk about establish agreement, a boundary, a logistic, right? But oftenly when we talk about trust and safety, we often think from judgment, place, free judgment, and relational safety. Okay. And recently, I have some struggle. I have some challenging with some of my coachee and mentee relationship because I don't set the clear boundary. Now, let me share my mistake and my failure with you, so you can learn from that as well, right? Not just say what I do wrong. So before, I often positioning myself as a coach, but recently, what I do is more of the mentoring. So here is the boundary is sometimes they comes to me with want me to advise, want me to consult, want me to give the mentor. So somehow I see there's a beauty in that, a mentorship relationship, but just like half of coaching, half of mentorship. So the boundary is not clearly 100% for some of my coaching students, right? So the good is that some of my clients, they got the result quickly, right? And for some of my clients, even I give them feedback, give them instruction, they might not get the result as fast as they want. And from that situation, it creates some conflict, right? Some resistance. So that I just want to share with you. So to be very clear, whether you just purely, oh, I'm a coach, and the boundary and the responsibility is like, for a week, you just help me for 1 hour. That's it, right? We just clear that, right? Rather than a mentorship relationship is, I can follow up you phone call like this, I can share with you that, I can teach you that, right? So it's more of the scope, right? Some of the scope. So just to be clear that we want to be a coach or want to be mentor and consulting. So some of my mentor before guide me like, if we want to positioning as a consultant or a mentor, we charge double the fee of a coach, right? We charge double the fee. It's just the outside of business, right? And not just the competency. I hope that is okay with somebody, all of us here. But I feel it's relevant to the topic, right? Okay, let's go. Okay. So for the PCC level and the MCC level, right? So what is the difference between two levels, right? And for the PCC level, it's more of the structure, more of the logical path of that. It's more of like doing it right, more of the formula, more of the logic, right? And it's like respect the client identity, value, confidential, so support, right? So for the MCC, the focus will be different, right? It's more of flow, more of the openness, right? More of the being in the trust, more of silence and emotional truth to deepen connections. Right? So that is more of being rather than doing, right? For the PCC, it's more of the doing. For the MCC, it's more of the being, the trust, being in the flow, being in the self-trust to sharing, being vulnerability, being open, right? So that's the difference between the PCC and the MCC, right? So for the PCC, like, okay, how we provide safety for our coachee, right? But from the MCC perspective, is how we can feel, we can flow, and together we can co-creating the freedom for both of us as a coach and as a client. Okay. So some of the behavior that build trust. So see how you can apply it. Okay. So as a coach, we have been trained, we acknowledge our client emotion. Right. I sense, I have a feeling, you feeling that. Right. Just acknowledge the emotion of a client. Okay. And you share what you sense, right? Not holding anything back. Share what you sense. Right. Number 3, I just talked about. What's number 3 mean? It's like the comfortable with the unknown. So that is number 3, right? So how, as a coach at the MCC level, we can coach in the area that we may not have the knowledge about, and we feel comfortable with the uncertainty that the situation brings, and we can accept that, oh, I don't know much about this. We can explore together. So I think that's the MCC level, right? Using the client language, nothing new about that. And okay, how about number 5? Celebrating courage, not just achievement. What that mean to you? Someone want to share? Someone want to say about this?
I guess it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, to talk about your deepest thoughts, right? And your point is that we should celebrate people's courage to come up with whatever they have to think about instead of just their achievements. Is that what you mean?
Yep. Anyone want to share more? Thanks, Auntie. And that is also crucial, a difference between the PCC level and the MCC level. Now, we're not talking about the ACC, right? PCC and MCC.
May I share something?
Yes, please.
So, firstly, thank you so much for bringing in the perspective on this competency. Um, I believe that most of the time, when as children or in the formative years, we have been taught on the achievements and not on the efforts, or acknowledging or celebrating everything that we do to focus, and which is where I think in the coaching journey also the efforts matter. So acknowledging and recognizing that also helps in creating the space, one wherein the person feels seen and heard, because most of the time we focus on achievements, and if somebody is acknowledging the efforts, it adds on as an encouragement. So which is where it is even more important to recognize that.
Yeah. Thanks. How do I call you? Ruchika and Ati for the input, right? It's really crucial because in a journey, like the purpose of a coaching relationship is not just about achieving, but it's about becoming more, right? Becoming the persons they want to be, becoming the next version of themselves, right? So it's not merely just focus on the achievement. We want that, right? But it's not just the mean to an end. It's not just the only one thing to focus at, but rather then in the journey, and how we can celebrate the progress. How can we celebrate the effort? How can we celebrate the awareness? And how can we celebrate the courage that our client take and all the hard work? So that one of the shift from the PCC and the MCC, right? For the PCC, we more focus on the structures, on whether we hit the target. It's also some of the awareness. But for the MCC, it's more about the awareness, more about the deeper conversation, more about the co-creating, trusting relationship, more about creating the safe space, more about creating the safe space so the client feel being seen and heard. So there's somebody. So that is something for the MCC level. Okay. So relating to these core competencies, right? I want to share with you one case study that Google, right? Google, do you know that Google they did a project? They did a project, okay. In 2012, this called the Aristotle project. In 2012 to 2014, right? It takes 3 years. So Google they did a project to find out what make a team successful, right? What make a team successful? And they find out that there are 5 key elements that make a team successful. So let me read it out loud, right? 5 elements. The first one. So here are some of the. Let me share some of the text that I have here to the chat, so we can all see it. I will share my slide to the team so can share with each other. Okay. So what makes a team effective? So Google study over 180 teams to understand what makes a high-performance team. Okay. And the number one factor is psychological safety. Right? It is shared belief that it's safe to take the interpersonal risks. Okay. So, and I just share with you in Vietnam, right? Currently, there are about 2 companies. They quite promote a training called psychology team safety to the market, right? If like 3 years, 5 years ago, if we open a training course, say, oh, I train you how to create safety team, nobody will buy that course, I think so, right? Okay. So, but that is the evident proof that Google make it like a research. So the number one to make the high performance team is the ability that each team member feel trust and they feel safe. You surprised with that fact? Normally we talk about motivation, coaching, training, delegation, right? But the number one thing is like trust and safety. And that is how it's connect with the ICF core competency. So for me, I think this will be not the ICF core competency number 4. It should call ICF core competency number 2, right? Is number 1 is ethics, right? Number 1 is ethics, mindset as a coach, and number 2 should be safety and trust. Now it's number 4. Right? I think it should be number 1 or number 2 because the level of the importance of that. Right? Okay, cool. So anything sharing during your coaching journey or any question relating to this core competency? You can put on the chat. Okay, you can. We still have few minutes together, 10 minutes together. Yeah. I think I have one last slide to share with you. Okay. So let me share this last slide, 2 last slide, and then we can have a Q&A sharing, and we can end the session. Will it be okay? Yeah? Okay. So the common pitfalls for coach, right? So, and sometimes the coach, right, trying to protect the client from the uncomfortable, from the discomfort. And I think that is the mistake. Our job as a coach and not to make the client feel comfortable all the time, because growth often go when is met with challenge, right? So some people feel like, oh, I need to please my client. No, 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 no. We as a coach, we support our client and we challenge by inviting them to step outside of the comfort zone, right? Not as a coach, we need to please our client. So that's the thing. And number two is sometimes the coach will overconfidence because the coach see the client result, right? You see, oh, client paid me this, and now they already get back like 200 times, 2x, 3x. So the coach might feel overconfidence. But I believe trust is something we create and we maintain all the time during our relationship, right? Not just like we win the trust and we don't build on it. We don't need to focus like, oh, the time you just, but we need to maintain it at some level. Okay. People often ask me whether I trying to look professional or look personal. There's two words, right? Look professional or personal in my approach. Or I just coach and not say something on my personal life. So for me, I think more personal is better. More personal is better. Right? More personal is better. Some people, they think, oh, I just coached you and we are in the professional relationship. So I just keep a distance. I show up in the session, I ask you the question, you got out of that. So I think that's the distance between the coach and the coachee. Right? So that is something avoid. So for you to reflection. What safety feel like in your session? Do you intentionally create that? And when there's decline in trust during the coaching conversation, how do you regain it? How do you rebuild it? Do you show up as a whole person that allow the client to see the whole version of you rather than just the professional aspect of you? The client see you as a human. Do you trust? During the coaching conversation, when is it a moment that you feel like that's there? I feel trust and safe enough, and my client feel trust and safe enough that we can go deeper. Anytime we feel like, oh, there's something I can go deeper, but I'm afraid. My client will not comfortable. My client will angry. My client not ready for this. Right? So what is the signal that tell you the client is ready? Okay, and final, some key takeaway. Trust is not by being nice. It's being real you. Right? And safety is not about the absence of the risks. It's the courage that you can go deep in yourself and allow you to have your self-respect, self-trust to go deep, invite client to go deep on their part. Use your facial, smile, calm, empathy, right? Every breath, every tone contribute to psychology safety. Yeah. And safe and trust, final safe and trust is not the goal for the section. It's the chemistry, it's the safe environment, it's the conditions that makes transformation possible. I hope I have your trust and I make you feel safe today during we explore our topic number 4. Okay. We have 4 minutes left for our sharing, key takeaway and question, maybe like 30 seconds or 1 minute each. Okay. Who want to go first? Yeah, who want to go first? I would like everybody to share, right? Artie, Lee, Ziem. Hi, Ziem. Okay. Artie, please. Then Sweta.
I just have a question that popped up while going through your slides. Do the core competencies differ for ACC, PCC, and MCC levels?
So much.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, if you can look at the rating scale, right? For example, like the ACC level, it's more of the checklist, right? More of the it's like a new student. It's like for the high school, let's say for the ACC is high school. The checklist when the ICF assessor look into your competency is that, oh, you say something, or the conversation is safe and confidential, and do you ask a question to clarify the goal, the measurable? Do you check in the progress at the end? It's more of like the check mark. It's if you ask that question, if you, and for the PCC is more of to go deeper into the core competencies to show how you coach at a higher level. Yeah. And it's funny that for the MCC, here is how funny it is, right? For the MCC, the coach, not I find the word. The coach I invited not use a structure, a logic. It's like for the ACC advanced. What do you want in this session? How do you know at the end of the session you achieve that? What the evidence? How do you feel what that means? It's more of the structure. Anyone can do that, right? But for MCC, it's more focused on the awareness about a deeper conversation, about a meaning, about a vision, about a higher purpose. So for each level require different, deeper level of conversation. I hope that answered your question, Ati.
yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I think it's so much fun, right? And it's funny for the MCC level, it's like something like that. When the assessor listen to the recording, they will not know who is the coach and who is the answers, because the conversation feel like is more of a conversation, not just I ask you answer. So that is like that. So I love that, right? It's more of the conversation, exploration, and the responsiveness between the coach and the coachee, and the ease of a coach to come up with a question and share freely, right? It's more really of the collaborating and partnership in that process. Thank you. Sweta?
Yeah, hi, Kong, and thank you so much for this wonderful session first. So my question is related to that discomfort that you mentioned, right? When we put our client in some challenging position, right? So for me, challenging them is very discomforting. I'm not able to push my client to that discomfort. So I don't know what to do at that moment when my when my client is not feeling comfortable, or I don't know how much is enough, you know,
No.
what's that line? So I just want to understand that how much I should push that discomfort. If you can suggest something.
Yeah. I really liked you. I really loved you, Sweta. And I really want to support you to really achieving that goal. And I know that your style, you prefer comfortable approach. Yeah. May I challenge you a little bit in that situation, Sweta?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. And what I'm saying, it's not I usually say or challenge you, and it may be a bit uncomfortable. Is that something okay with you?
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Then I challenge you.
Okay.
Okay, nice. So it's like I'm prepare you to welcome the challenge. And I state that I really want to support you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the intention is support you. And I say that it's your style is you prefer comfortable. You want a different approach. You want a little extra uncomfortable if that have you. So it's really the invitation for you to be willing to be uncomfortable. And you feel the trust that the coach here to support you, he already know your style. He already know your approach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. Makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In
And
fact,
then you not go like for you, right? Let's say here is the comfortable. Here's the challenge. So I'm not like go to level 7 challenge. I may go to like level 3 and I observe how is your tonality, how is your face, right? How you engage with I challenge you, and then the conversation open up and I challenge you at level 5 and I go deeper level 6 and I go deeper level 7, right? And not go like level 8. Because as a coach, we have been trained like to start where our client are, right? And lead them up to our level. Make sense?
yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Very helpful.
Okay, cool. So any sharing or any question? What's your key takeaway? Just one thing. One for each, like 10 second or 15 second. Start with Squida because you're there already. Then Ati, then Lee, then Nita.
Yeah,
Mira.
so my takeaway was the acknowledgement part, the encouragement, when we acknowledge, and it's acknowledgement, it's not always the wins. It's also the lack, the barriers that we face or the client is facing or the challenges that he is facing. So acknowledgement with everything that he or she is going through. So that's that's my takeaways. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Ati, please go ahead.
Self-sharing, as you mentioned towards the beginning of the session, self-sharing on part of the coach, not just sharing by the coach. That was the biggest thing for me. Client has to be as vulnerable as the coach. So vulnerability, sharing, and trust, all are two-way streets. That's what I want.
Yeah, thank you. So the ICF may not like this because some ICF assessor is just one way, the client sharing. But the other say it needs to be equal from both partner. So for safety reason, when you apply for PCC, MCC, not listen to what I'm saying, right? Just follow ICF. It's for the coaches sharing. But there's two mainstream, right? One say, oh, we need both say, and the other ICF say, oh no, just the client sharing because we just ask question. So be careful, right? I just said, okay, thank you. Diễm, please. Diễm Nguyễn.
For me, I am not practicing on the PPC, but I applying the definition on trust very much in my work as a consultant. So without trust, all the information we cannot take for further investigation or decode on the solution. So it's truly important in every conversation, business conversation. Moreover, we also can, with the trust level, depend on the trust level, we can define the discomfort zone or the safe zone that we can have with that business partner. So this topic is very helpful for me to apply in my work. Thank you, Thầy.
Thank you. Hi, Nira, can you share? Oh, you're on mute.
So first of all, thank you. This has been a very engaging session, a very engaging discussion. I love the way you brought everything together. And if I had to summarize it, I think the last sentence you put out there, that safety is not a goal, it's the condition. And it takes me back to what I was sharing with you around, the whole concept of vulnerability, because it's like, are we preparing the soil right for ensuring that that vulnerability can blossom so that it allows? So that's the way I would think about it, because everything you've said links back to that in my mind. And so a lot of times, what I'm taking away, which I like to do most often, is if I feel something is missing, then often I reflect to say, what was I not able to be in that session? Because that is what gives the answers. And I say this with context because the more one immerses in this work, the more one recognizes how much of inner work is happening all the time inside of us as a coach. So yeah, I powerful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoyed being part of it.
Next, Surada.
Yeah. Thank you for the session. I was having really a great time listening to all. And I also need your help how to pronounce your name.
Kong, King Kong, like Kong.
Okay. Oh, thanks. Because I joined a little late. So thanks,
Okay.
Kong. And key takeaway for me was not to be too nice and to be comfortable with the discomfort and to challenge the coaching. And just a little bit of my experience, because I've worked with as a coachee, I've worked with two MCCs. The one MCC who I felt very safe with, unfortunately, I could not come out with any action plan. And the other MCC that I worked with, which I was not feeling very safe with, because it looked like more like a principal, because every time I had a session with her, I had to prepare a lot because she would ask 10, 10, 10, 10, just like questions like that. I came out with an action plan. So how to take these two things? There's one safe place. I was very comfortable sharing things. Nothing came out of it. Not something obvious. Definitely there was some, maybe connections in my mind which got changed. Nothing obvious. But the second MCC that I worked with, who I was not very comfortable with, she made me take action plan. So this is what I want to share. So what is your take on that?
Which one do you prefer? Or you love both?
No, I prefer the first one.
You prefer the first one? Even you not come up with the action plan, but you prefer the both one?
Yeah, because that was long term goal that I was working with the first one. The second one did not allow me that space to work on anything long term, so I had to settle for something very short term. So that is what it happened. Yeah.
Okay, I have the same experience. I have two coach. I love both, right? Same with you. The first one, he's really playful, really humanity. He's really more about how to love life, how to engage, how to live in the spirit of play, how you can enjoy life. It's more of harmony. It's help me to really enjoy life and to be a better human being. And the second one, it's bang, bang, bang. Help me just to focus on performance, makes money, and just like a task management, right? You gotta go do it. It's I love both, right? But just totally different approach, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question coming up, Kong, if you'll allow me.
Yes, please.
So in context of what Shraddha just shared, I'm curious. As a coach, we are expected to create a relationship that encourages equality. It
Yep.
cannot be an imbalance. And Shraddha, this is an opinion I'm sharing, so I hope you're okay with me sharing that.
Very okay. Yeah.
And when I'm hearing this, it comes across to me as if one relationship was more like a power imbalance,
Yeah.
because it's almost instructing the individual. It's more like a instructor or a teacher telling you what to do, and it's kind of conflicting in my mind and how I perceive and think of coaching, which is differentiated in the value it's meant to bring, because it's meant to be a place of co-creation. It's meant to be a place of equality. It is meant to be a place which is non-threatening in every way. Because when we are away from fear is when the best of us comes out, is my belief. And I'm just sharing
Yep.
how I tend to understand and interpret coaching. So that's a question I often ask myself to say, am I showing up like that or not? So I'm just a little bit conflicted here in what I'm hearing.
Yeah, here, may I add just one thing, Dr. Neera? Actually, what happened was, you are to an extent correct when you are, describing the relationship there. But let me also take some burden, some, means the discredit of this whole thing, that I was everywhere as a coachee. I was going in all direction. So I still have this thing, though I was very comfortable with the first one. I still have that feeling that going in every direction, was stopped by the second coach. It did not. I did not end up with what I wanted to, but definitely a direction. Definitely a direction. So in a way, both the coaches helped me move forward. So I just can't say I am
Yeah.
comfortable with the first one because that is my personal style, you can say. But to give credit to both of them helped me move forward.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I totally hear what you say, and there is no intent to judge anything. But I'm just questioning in my mind if one relationship is more coaching and the other is more like counseling, rather than it be in the spirit of coaching, because um, just for my own self, that's how I like to
Yeah.
be differentiated in the way I interpret the two. And yeah, the lines can blur, and honestly, this is
Yep.
just more for my own reflection, but I brought it up
Yep. Thank you.
because it was coming up for me, so I thought I would table it here.
Yeah. Okay. I wish here's my take on it. Ati, will you contribute to this or another question? Or you contribute to this
I
conversation?
was just wondering what the second coach did. Was that a part of their accountability factor? Because they have to hold, or they should, or must hold the coachee accountable for progress, right? Maybe that's what the second coach did.
Yeah. And here's my take on this. So we as a human being, so we are the same coach, and we have a very different style, and we have a different value. For some coach, they believe that the value is more of awareness, is more of they explore the conversations, more of to have you to really seeing a deeper part of yourself. It doesn't matter whether you achieve the task in the session or not, but it's more of for you to really seeing yourself deeper. So some of my coach with that approach, right? Some of my coach with like, you pay me is for the result, right? You pay me is you make the money. You pay me is you do that. And this is what our agreement for 1 year. You want to achieve that, achieve that, achieve that, right? I remind you to be responsibility for what you set out to be. So that is my role. I remind you on that. I don't really need a long story. I don't need your sharing like last week how you and your honey go somewhere on the beach, how beautiful it is. Not so much about that, just a little bit, okay. But the other coach is more of the really strictly on the goal focus and performance base. So I think the both of the coach we have a different style. Even I believe that they serve you in some way. That's why you keep the relationship, right? Otherwise, you're not having them as a coach, right? After 2 or 3 sessions, it's just a different style, a different approach, right? And sometimes the second coach may feel like we follow his direction because sometimes he's cut off, get back on here, focus on what you want. Okay, so I think some coach prefer the second, some coach prefer the one, right? And for me, just try it out because we need a different approach. Because sometimes if we just focus on performance, on money, on tasks, and we lose the sight of really explore another part of ourselves. But if we just focus on explore another part of ourselves, a long term we lost track on a short term goal. So that's my take on this, right? Okay, thank you very much. Looking forward to see you next section. I think the next on the 19th, I think on the second week of November, I will share the core competency number 3. Okay, I really looking forward to it. I spent the whole morning to prepare for the core competency number 3. And on the last hour, I thought, oh, today my topic is core competency number 4, not number 3. What the heck? Okay, so I have full prepared for next week. Thank you so much for showing up, and we have a very meaningful conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Cong. It was a
Bye bye.
great
Thank you.
presentation.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.